common sense is like deodorant. The people who need it most never use it. Today, in this highly educational and slightly erotic video, I will explain some of the things to watch out for when you're shopping for a GMRS radio. But instead of telling you what's best for you, like so many other YouTubers, I will explain some of the different options and things to watch out for and be aware of when you're shopping for a handheld GMRS radio, sometimes called an HT by us radio experts, so that you can decide what's best for you, my favorite viewer. First and most important when considering a GMRS radio is it even a GMRS radio? This may sound obvious, but it can be confusing to those new to the exciting world of GMRS. So when shopping for your GMRS radio, make sure it actually says GMRS on the box or in the description of the online advertisement that you're reading. If it says UHF or dual band or tri-band or CB, then it is not a GMRS radio. Next is the form factor. How big or small is the radio that you're looking at? Is it big and bulky, like this 3-pound Motorola XTS 5000, which, by the way, is not a GMRS radio? I'm simply using it as a demonstration of a large, bulky radio. Or is it light and thin? I'll be doing a full review of this sexy little radio in a few days. Usually, bigger and heavier also means a bigger battery that will last longer, and generally speaking, a smaller, lighter radio means a smaller battery that will not last as long. Power output, that's usually one of the big numbers on the box. Most handheld radios, or HTs, output between 3 and 5.5 watts. More watts equals more battery drain or faster battery drain. It does not necessarily or always mean more distance, or what us experts call FARs. Generally speaking, there is not a huge difference in FARs, or how far you can transmit, between a 3-watt radio and a 5 or 5.5 watt radio. You will notice the battery draining faster, probably more than you would notice the distance or number of FARs you can transmit. Batteries are measured in milliamp hours, and the more milliamp hours, or mAh, the bigger the number, the larger or more capacity the battery has. That generally also means it's heavier, so you will have to take into consideration the wattage and the battery and decide which is more important for you, battery life, or slightly better, if any, difference in FARs. As I mentioned, the power output makes very little difference in the number of FARs you can transmit. This 5-watt radio does not transmit much further, if any, than this sexy little 2-watt radio, and there is not much difference in brands. This 5-watt radio, which again is not a GMRS radio, it is for demonstration purposes only, but this 5-watt radio, which cost over $5,000 when it was brand new, does not transmit any farther than this $90 5-watt radio. One brand does not transmit any better or further than any other particular brand. In your quest for the perfect GMRS radio, you will be bombarded with marketing speak and advertising lies. So here are a few to watch out for and be aware of. All GMRS radios come with the basic 22 GMRS channels. Us experts call those the basic 22 GMRS channels. Most GMRS radios are also repeater capable, so they will have an additional 8 repeater channels. I'll talk more about those in a minute. So the maximum number of transmitting channels that any GMRS radio can have is 30. And it's technically only 22, but for the sake of argument, we're going to say 30. No matter what the box says, 500 channel, 999 channel, there are only 30 channels that you can transmit on a GMRS radio. Any additional channels that the box claims to have are either for receiving only, I'll talk about more about those in a minute, or they are trying to trick you with the other big lie, subchannels. When the box says 200 subchannels or 100 subchannels, it's bullshit. They are trying to take advantage of your ignorance, but don't worry, I'm here to protect and educate you. Along with subchannels, the box may also say something about privacy codes or privacy tones. And the thing to remember about privacy tones or privacy codes or privacy anything is that on a GMRS radio, nothing is private. There is no encryption. There is nothing private, no matter what the box says. Allow me to say that again, because every time I say this in a video, and I've said it many times in a video, some of the YouTube comment experts come along and leave comments telling me that I'm wrong. So let me say this again more slowly so that even those experts can understand it. Subchannels or privacy tones or privacy codes are not private in any way. They are quite literally the opposite of private. There is no privacy in GMRS. If you are using a subchannel or privacy tone, by default, any other radio within listening range can hear everything you're saying. They don't have to do anything special or fancy to their radio. By default, they will hear you. Period. Now let's talk more about range and distance claims, or the number of FARs that the box may claim a radio can talk. When a box says 9-mile range or 20-mile range or 30-mile range, although it's not a complete lie, it's referring to a mathematically calculated range in perfect optimal conditions. That means for you to get anywhere near that range or that distance or that number of FARs, you and your friend with the other radio would both have to be on a lake with nothing in between you, or one of you would have to be up high on a mountain looking down at your friend with nothing in between you. Now, I have actually used a cheap handheld 4 or 5 watt walkie-talkie and talked 15 miles to a friend on a cheap handheld walkie-talkie, but that was in near perfect conditions. Now, no doubt, some YouTube comment expert will come along and leave comments saying that I'm a liar, that it's impossible to talk 15 miles because of the curvature of the earth or something. The thing to remember about most of these YouTube experts is that they're idiots and they don't get out of the basement very often. Never believe what you read in the YouTube comments without independent verification. So with any 3 to 5 watt GMRS radio, your number of FARs will vary widely from anywhere from a quarter of a mile up to 15 miles or so. It really matters more what is between you and the other person than anything else. If there are any trees, buildings, hills, big trucks, anything, if there's anything between you and that other person, that will reduce the range. If there's a mountain between you and that other person, forget it. You will not be talking to that person unless there happens to be a repeater on top of that mountain that you can both use. Now allow me to review some of the physical attributes of different radios. What probably matters most to most people is the screen size and screen type. The main difference between the screens is basically how much information it can display and how well you can read it in bright sunlight. Larger screens will have more stuff displaying on them than a smaller screen. Some people may prefer more stuff. Some people may prefer less stuff as it's more simple. Some people get very turned on by lots of things on the screen. Other people prefer simplicity. One thing to remember if you're going to be using your radio outdoors is that the color screens usually do not do very well in bright sunlight and will be very difficult to read in the sunlight, where the smaller type screens generally do much better in bright sunlight. Most larger screen radios also have a dual monitoring feature. As you can see, this radio is monitoring channel 16 and a repeater named Ranchino. At the same time, it is listening to both of those channels at the same time. This radio is monitoring channel 29 and channel 17 at the same time. This radio is monitoring only channel 21, and that's all that it can do. Some people love the ability to be able to monitor more than one channel at a time. Some people find it very confusing and prefer simplicity of listening to only one channel at a time. The other big difference is keypads. These two radios have keypads. As you see, this radio does not have a keypad. A keypad makes it much easier to manually enter frequencies, and if you're going to be programming the radio, obviously that's much easier with a keypad. If the radio does not have a keypad, you cannot directly type in frequencies to listen to or transmit on, and you may not even be able to program it without software. The KG-805G does allow you to do some programming without any software. The Retevis RP19P, RB19P, whatever this one's called, full review coming soon, you can't do any programming. The only way you can program it is with the software. If all you care about is those basic 22 channels, this radio, a very simple radio, or this radio might be fine for you. If you're going to be using repeaters or scanning through additional channels to use the radio as a scanner, then you might find a keypad more suitable for your GMRS desires. Speaking of software, the software that comes with most radios is junk, and many people prefer to use a free program called Chirp. If you've ever heard somebody saying, is it Chirp compatible? They're referring to the software called Chirp. Most new radios are not Chirp compatible, meaning you must use the manufacturer's software to do your programming. Many older radios are on the Chirp list, and you can use the Chirp software for programming it. And the programming would be for adding additional repeaters, adding multiple frequencies to scan. It's that more fancy stuff that you might want the software for. So whether or not a radio is Chirp compatible may be important. Most of the time, the manufacturer will not list anywhere whether it's Chirp compatible or not. So you can check online reviews to find out if it's Chirp compatible, or go to the Chirp website and check their radio compatibility list. A big debate and a big issue in the GMRS world is wideband versus narrowband. It is a very confusing subject. Most all GMRS radios are wideband radios. Some GMRS radios, however, are narrowband only. And even though a wideband GMRS radio can talk to a narrowband and vice versa, they are compatible. They can talk to each other, but there will be issues. Now, some people will leave comments on YouTube videos saying that they have a narrowband radio and they don't have any issues at all. But remember what I said about YouTube comment experts that don't get out of the basement very often. If you are shopping for a GMRS radio, you probably want a wideband radio. Sometimes the manufacturers will list it on the box. If you can't find anything that says it is a wideband radio, they may be trying to hide the fact that it is a narrowband radio, so checking the online reviews would be helpful in determining if a radio is wideband or narrowband. Most GMRS radios are repeater capable. That means they have 8 additional channels on top of the basic 22 channels that you can use for talking to repeaters. But many GMRS radios will not allow you to have more than one repeater that uses the same channel, but different repeater tones. This means that, say at home you have a repeater that you like to talk on and it's on repeater channel 21. You then travel to your faraway adventuring location and there is another repeater that you want to talk on that is also on channel 21, but it uses different tones. If your radio does not allow you to have multiple repeaters on the same channel with different tones, in order for you to access your faraway adventuring repeater, you would have to reprogram the radio, and that can be a pain in the bitch, especially if you have one of those radios that's difficult to program if it doesn't have a keypad. If the radio does allow you to program multiple repeaters on the same channel with different tones, all you would need to do is pre-program a custom channel with the tones for that faraway adventuring repeater, and then you would just switch between them by changing channels, making it much easier to access multiple repeaters on the same channel with different tones. Most manufacturers will not spell out on the box whether or not their radio can do multiple repeaters with different tones. That's the sort of thing you need to look for in online reviews. Speaking of using repeaters, another very important feature that many GMRS radios do not have, some do not have, some do, some don't, is the ability to do split tones. Split tones. Many repeaters require 2 tones, an input tone and an output, or a transmit and a receive. And if those tones are different, us experts call those split tones. And some radios are not split tone compatible. If your radio doesn't do split tones and your repeater requires split tones or different input and different output tones, if your radio can't do it, you cannot use that repeater. So if you plan on using your new GMRS radio for accessing repeaters, that's a very important feature to have. Split tones. Split tones. That usually also will not be listed on the box. Online reviews. Those online reviews are good for something, especially mine. As I mentioned earlier, some radios can store multiple channels, 200 channels, 999 channels. Remember, you can only talk on those basic 22 GMRS channels, plus the 8 repeater channels, but many radios will allow you to store many more channels that you can access easily for those multiple repeaters with different tones, or for receiving only. Many radios can listen to ham bands and weather bands. We'll talk about that in a second. So you may want to listen only to many other things, and you can use those channels for quickly accessing them. So if you plan on using your GMRS radio as a scanner, for example, or if you want to listen to a lot of other stuff other than those basic 22 channels, then a radio with more channels may be desirable. And if you do plan on listening to other stuff other than those basic 22 GMRS channels, then the receiving range of the radio may be important to you. Receiving range isn't the distance. Don't confuse receiving range with FARs or distance. It is the range. How many frequencies can a radio receive? Not every radio can receive every frequency. As a matter of fact, no radio can receive every frequency, and most are limited to a very small range of frequencies that it can listen to. For example, the KG-805G has a relatively small frequency range, 400 to 500 megahertz, for example, while this KG-UV9G Pro, affiliate link below, has a much wider frequency range. So this radio can receive or listen to many more frequencies than, for example, this one. So if receiving more frequencies, more than just the basic 22 channels is important to you, you'll want to check the frequency range. What can the radio receive? What is the range of reception frequency? If you plan on using your new GMRS radio for adventuring, then the IP rating will be very important to you. Many radios have no IP rating. That means it is not waterproof. It is not moisture-proof. Moisture-proof. Moist. It is not dust-proof. It is not very rugged overall. Any moisture, dust can get inside of it easily and could cause problems. The moisture and dust proofness is measured in IP intrusion protection ratings. An IP rating of 66 means that the radio is moisture-proof and dust-proof and lightly waterproof. You could take it out in the rain and it would probably be okay. An IP rating of 67 means that the radio is basically waterproof and submersible. If there is no IP rating on the box, that means it is not waterproof or dustproof or moisture-proof. Do not get it moist. If there is an IP rating, the manufacturer will usually brag about it and put it on the box. The higher the IP rating number, the better. And finally, we have what might be the most confusing of all. Maybe not as confusing as wideband versus narrowband, but still confusing nonetheless, or mysterious. And that is a super heterodyne radio versus an SOC, or regular radio. An SOC stands for System on a Chip, means that the entire radio, the transmitter, receiver, all the electronical guts inside are all on a single small chip. An SOC type radio will always be less expensive than a super heterodyne receiver. A super heterodyne radio uses a real, or what some of the radio experts call a classic receiver circuit. A super heterodyne receiver, or super het, as us experts like to call it, will be more sensitive and can receive weaker signals. The squelch on a super heterodyne receiver will almost always work better than on an SOC radio. And most importantly, a super heterodyne radio has better selectivity than an SOC radio. This means that when you put your radio on, for example, channel 19, the official highway travel channel for GMRS, if you're listening to channel 19 and you're driving down the road on your way to your adventure and you drive by some other large, high powerful transmitters that are transmitting something not in the GMRS range, an SOC radio may still pick up those electricities coming through the air, even though they're not channel 19 electricities. And you may hear that as noise and static, whereas a super heterodyne receiver is usually much more selective and only hears more stuff on the channel that you have selected. So basically that means that you're going to hear much less static and unwanted noise on a super heterodyne radio than you would on an SOC radio. And of course, the super heterodyne radio is almost always going to cost more than an SOC radio. Now you know what to look for when you're shopping for a new GMRS radio, so that you can choose the GMRS radio that most fits your active GMRS lifestyle. If you have any questions about shopping for GMRS radios, or if I missed anything, leave a comment below.